Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Let's Play. Today I'm taking a look at Infinity Defiance, the upcoming dungeon crawl sci-fi game from Corvus Belli. Now I have been sent a prototype of the game along with a how to play book and the first mission, the extraction mission, where the team is trying to get Valkyrie, the special security officer, off of a spaceship that's just infested with Shasvastii. There's Shasvastii everywhere, and basically get off on this little space shuttle trying to escape. You have to undock the clamps, fight your way out, and before this Guerrilla shows up with a machine gun and kills everyone. So it's a good how to play mission. It's going to go through the core mechanics. These are all non-finished components, so this is just a demo set that CB was kind enough to send me so I could check it out. And yeah, we're gonna throw down. It's neat. It kind of combines a little bit of Hero Quest with a little bit of Aristea, some core components that'll be familiar from classic dungeon adventures like Hero Quest, and of course Aristea itself with its cool opposed dice mechanic and unlockable triggers. All of the trigger abilities that can come off your dice as well. And yeah, so you're gonna play 4 different characters. You've got Ching Gao, you've got Caden First Strike, Uma Sorensen, and Jasmine Jazz, the hacker, all of whom come from infinite hyperpower in the human sphere as they fight the Shasvastii, the combined army who have infiltrated local space and are sent on various missions. So I'm going to show you the components. I'll walk you through the basic core mechanics of the game. We'll get this underway. Alright, so here's everything laid out for my first game of Infinity Defiance. Now, this is a 1 to 4 player game with you either controlling all of the heroes or every player controlling a hero. The enemy is played off of an AI deck, which will activate them and give you a list of sort of like knock-on things that they will do, basically if X then Y. And it's played on a small hex grid, so like a 25mm hex grid here, meaning you have 6 possible move locations every time you move into a new hex. The tiles are all set up and then connected with these boarding clamps right here, which allow you to access them. Basically, you can move from any side that's touching a boarding clamp. So you can move to here and then to here. You couldn't move through this space here because it doesn't have the boarding clamp on it. Additional assets, these are objective clamps. These are clamps that are holding the spaceship here. We have to release these to get away in this shuttle. There's 2 consoles that can be interacted with as well. A security door, and the character tokens basically for the non-miniature characters. So Valkyrie there in her security cell. And then you have a variety of other things for tracking the rounds, your console inputs, and your alert level. So whenever you try and interact with a console, you roll dice and you start to gain inputs basically into it, and each input unlocks different effects, and you can roll multiple times to basically unlock the console and do things. Now you can see here the character cards. They have various item slots, fairly standard format for equipping things. There's an armor slot, a helmet slot, 2 hand slots, 2 equipment slots. Also, each of the characters comes with an auto med kit. Basically, the first time they're knocked out, they have to draw consequence cards from being knocked out, and then this can wake them up as an action. So you kind of have 1 get out of jail free card after you take all your health and damage and go unconscious, and your only action you can take when you activate after that is to use your auto med kit to wake you up. And the consequences become more severe and more severe as you go through. Miniature-wise, we have our 4 heroes here. We have Chang Go in the front there with his heavy shotgun and heavy armor. He can also upgrade an HMG, which the miniature has. Then Caden First Strike, which is the Wolver. He's a fighter. He's got 2 big rippers, his big blades, and medium armor. We've got Uma Sorensen with her double pistols. I think she has SMGs there on the actual miniature. She's got an accuracy helmet, medium armor, 2 pistols, and an auto med kit. And then Jasmine Jazz, the hacker, the nomad. And she's armed with a stun pistol, a hacking device, and you can see here these little 3 divots here. You can upload up to 3 programs to the device. She has Picklock, which is a demon, which means whenever she doesn't interact with a console, she adds a yellow die. She has Geist Aid, which is a support one. She can basically use it to target a friendly character and give them the focus state. And then Skullbuster, which means that hackable targets she can damage with it. And hacking devices don't need line of sight. So she's kind of your medic and your support character rolled into one. More like your cleric, kind of, because it buffs you. We have all our bad guy cards. Some begin on the table. So for instance, in this mission, the 2 Cadmuses, the Nox Spec Ops, and the Nox Leader start on the table. But because of our threat level, they won't activate until they can either see us or they're attacked, or we fire a weapon, because we start at alert level 0. And as it goes up, things can begin to activate. There's also an item deck and a like an ability deck. The items can be, here's a container full of items that we can actually rifle through. We have to draw the number of items off of the item pod and see what we get and equip them to our characters later on. Then finally, we have our activation deck. First, there's the available troopers for the mission, so the Guile and the Nox Hacker, and then there's the ones that are deployed, so any ones that are on the table. This is their activation order. You shuffle this up each turn as you do your rounds to see what order they activate in. In between every character activating, there will be an activation from each of the units on the table, and the units up to 2 models for each card. Stat cards for Billy, which is a little remote that you can deploy with Jasmine Jazz, and then Valkyrie if she's rescued from this locked room over here. There's a locked door that can be picked. It can also be opened to the console. And then, yeah, we're trying to basically rescue Valkyrie, kill the troopers, and bring them back on the table. Now, during the mission, there's also respawn points, and we will develop 2 different stats. So whenever someone does blood during their activation, they earn an aggro point, one of their key stats, and the aggro points basically dictate, 1, who the most dangerous threat is on the table. So when the AI cards go off, who the AI is going to target, and it's either the most or least dangerous based on your aggro. And also they earn like points throughout the round. If you have more aggro points than your aggro stat when you activate, you will gain a reinforcement point into the AI pool, meaning more guys can spawn when you kill them. So your relevant stats are, you have keywords, in this case armored, which is actually your class. You have hit points, that's how many damage you can take. You have your speed, that's how many movement points you get when you take the move action. And you can spend your movement points at any time. It's a bit like Aristea. You don't have to spend them all at the same time during a move action. You just fill them up by taking the move action. Your defense stat, so it's the defense dice that you roll. And then finally over here is your aggro limit. So how much aggro you can accrue basically before you start adding reinforcement points to the pool. Then there's all your character slots, and everyone has abilities. So for instance, Chen Go here has I'll draw their fire once per activation. You can pull, if you do blood, you can draw an aggro token from another character and put it in your card. So you can basically draw fire. And then defensiveness, you can reroll defense dice if it's blank when you make a defense roll. Caden Fire's first strike has frenzy. If you do any blood, you can make a free adjacent space move. And then A-Tech, you can't be the target of a hacking action because you're not hackable. Jasmine Jazz has deploy remote. She can take an action. It's a green. It's an action. Otherwise, it's like just a constant. You can put Billy adjacent to you if he's destroyed. And then Debugger, once per hacking roll, you can reroll any dice that's blank. She basically has the hacking version of the defensive ability. And then Uma Sorensen, she has the saturation attack. She gets to add a bonus yellow die to your combat rolls if she has 2 light weapons. Her 2 pistols give her a bonus die. And then accurate, if you have 2 light weapons, you can add a free strike to your attack rolls for each blank face you roll on your dice. My kits are cool. They don't take up any spaces in your equipment thing, but everything else will actually sit in a specific equipment like a pile and attached to your card in that way. Now there's also states. You can be stunned, unconscious, or focused. A stun miniature must nullify basically a strike from each of the rolls. Discard the state at the end of the activation. So if you're stunned the first time you roll a strike in an attack or a thing, you get rid of it because you're shaking it off. Unconscious, the only thing you can do is auto med kit. And focused, you can discard the focus state to add a yellow die to any roll. So those are basically debuffed, buffed, and unconscious are your various states that you can have. And that's really it for stuff on the table. Token-wise, we have our activated, not activated tokens. We have our reinforcement tokens, aggro tokens, blood tokens. These are for the hacking device, so they're the symbols that we accrue on the hacking device. And then these are for focused and stunned, or focused and stunned tokens. The remaining tokens are for assets on the table so that we can interact with them. All right, so everything laid out as per the mission. We start off by reading the text, and that is the installation under attack. All security personnel report to agreed checkpoints. A nearby explosion cuts your hurried race to the checkpoint of O12. Your comm logs receive a notification of the highest priority. Cuervo Goldstein, this is like your boss, he's your Charlie for Charlie's Angels, fills your screen, displays with his usually tense face. Hostile Shasvastii troops are taking the facility by assault. Several modules have been isolated and some VIPs cannot reach their transports. One of them is Elite Bodyguard Valkyrie. HVT, asset, our stalker shuttle is docked in the cargo bay with your crew on board. Your orders are to locate Elite Bodyguard Valkyrie, embark her on the stalker, and get her at full throttle. So with everything deployed, we're going to go through the core rules as we start to play. But the most important thing is, there's only one card on the table right now. For activations, and that's the Nox Spec Ops, and the reason for that is at security level 0, nobody activates unless they have line of sight to somebody. So actually, even this one wouldn't technically be in the initiative deck, but because the heroes go first, there's no way to get them out of line of sight. I'm just going to put it down right now, and it will obviously be the first one to flip. Now, the alert level is going to increase if I use a gun, or if I end an activation with a model in line of sight of these other models. So these guys right here, the Cadmuses and the Nox Leaders, won't add their cards to the initiative deck until I've either been in line of sight of them, which isn't hard. I could be in line of sight if I kind of end here. So I end on like one of these squares, or he'll be able to see actually, because any point to any point, if I end like in one of these, I'll probably be in line of fire. So jumping in, the heroes activate, and between that, each of the cards gets drawn. So you draw a card from the initiative deck to see who's going to go. And I think we're going to go first with Caden Farstrike, because First Strike's, he's real good at murdering stuff up close. So he has some special abilities. You'll see here that his Rippers, they take 2 hands, so it's both his weapon slots. They inflict an additional blood to adjacent enemies who are not the target if they get a strike, and you can basically spend your triggers. You can spend exclamation point strike, and it comes with a free strike. So all I have to do is roll a exclamation or a thing, and I can maybe hit both these guys at the same time. Now they have 2 wounds before they die and get knocked out. So there's a very small chance I can just kill both of them in a single hit. So the range of my attack is 1, so it has to be the adjacent hex basically. And it costs me action to make an attack. Now I have 2 actions I can do each round. I can do them more than once, provided it doesn't tap my weapon. So when I use a weapon, it taps, and that means I can't do it again. The movement action, though, I can do more than once, but it fills up my movement points. It means I don't have to use them all at the same time. So much like in Air State, you can move, do an action, and then move again. Now, my other option here, before I just jump in with Caden, is I could start buffing him with Jasmine, and also get my little character here, which is Billy, on the table. And I'm tempted to do that. Now, Billy has an electric pulse. He can stab people and put the stun state on people. He's also hackable, synchronized, an ally, and a remote. I think when you have an ally, basically what happens is they activate before or after the model they're attached to. I think I'm going to go with Jasmine first, and just to show how she's a great support character. And the first thing she's going to do is she's going to take the deploy remote action. So Billy's going to come on the table. She gets placed in an adjacent hex. I'm kind of blocked in here by Uma, but I want to get my buffs out early on. And so my first action, because it's a green here, is going to be to deploy Billy. My second action, I'm going to use Geist Aid on Caden, because it doesn't require line of sight, because it's a hacking ability. Oh, except it doesn't work, because he's an A-Tech. You cannot perform nor be the target of a hacking action for him. So I can't juice him up. Well, I guess my other option is I could juice up Uma, so I can work into that instead. Now I need to get a shield and a success to put the focus state on a character. And my hacking device rolls a orange and a yellow, and I can reroll blank because of debugger. So let's see what we got here. I need a shield and a exclamation point. I didn't get one, so it doesn't go off. A good roll, just not the right roll, and so her activation ends. So that was her 2 actions. Now Billy can go. Billy doesn't really have anywhere to go because he's an ally and everything's blocked right here. I can't go through this. So he's just going to dirtle for now and stay where he is. We flip our first enemy card from the deployment deck. It's going to be the Nox Spec Ops, so the only one's currently active. And when you deploy one, you take the first one, and I think it's the closest to an enemy trooper, and flip an AI card for it. Now, it will try and do 2 actions, and it'll start on the blue side. So before you reach the maximum alert level, all the bad guys have a blue state, basically. This is their basic state. They go to advance when you hit high alert. So we're going to use the blue column on this AI card. So this symbol means try and gain contact. And it's going to try and gain contact with the model with the highest current, threat, their current aggro. Now, nobody has any aggro here, so it's just going to be the closest after that. And it doesn't have to do so because it's got nobody in contact. So it basically skips this action and goes to the next one instead, because it already has lock on somebody. It's in range and in line of sight. If it didn't have range and line of sight, it would move to try and do so using its movement stat. So this doesn't count as its first action. It goes to the next action, which is attack the next thing with the highest aggro. And if not highest aggro, then closest. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 to whichever. So we'll go with Caden because he is, I guess, closest visually. And he's going to get attacked. So he's going to get attacked by the Spec Ops. It's 2 yellows with an automatic success with the combi rifle, and he's within 8 hexes, so he can do it. So now, because the Nox leader's on the table, the Nox Spec Ops automatically have this trigger, which it will always try and do. There's the evil AI rule. If there's a bad thing that can happen to the heroes, it automatically happens. So whenever these guys get 2 exclamation points as part of the roll, they get an additional strike. Well, that's not bad. So 2 exclamation points. So it does the switch, which gives it an additional strike and lands in with a total of 2 strikes. It doesn't actually do the switch yet, though. This opposed roll happens now, and Caden gets to roll his defense dice of blue plus 1 black for his medium armor, and see if he blocks anything. So he does a block and a strike. So blocks and strikes are applied first. The Nox Trooper had no successful blocks, but did gain a single strike from its card. Now Caden did a single block, which blocks that successful strike, and did a strike of his own. So with the switches in play, the Nox Spec Op can try to do, can apply its switch and make another strike, meaning that there's 1 uncancelled strike to do a point of damage to Caden, and 1 uncancelled strike to do a point of damage back to the Nox Spec Op. So the first one took some blood. It's useful to number your troopers on each card. The miniatures here aren't numbered, but we're just going to go with the closest one being number 1, and then the furthest one being number 2. So its second action, it's going to go down. It's going to attack again, because that's the next one down the list. The same roll, 2 yellow with a free strike, back into Caden. Gets a single strike, and a... so not a single strike on its card and a single exclamation. And then Caden's defense roll, 1 block. So he blocks a single strike, and the double exclamation point, it doesn't trigger because he's only got the 1 this time around. So no damage to Caden. Caden doesn't do any damage back. And that is the first 2 actions for the first of the Nox Spec Ops. The second Spec Ops is going to follow this last thing on the A card. It's going to try and engage the closest model that is highest aggro, or sorry, least aggro. In this case, they all have the same low number of aggro, so it's already in range. So it's going to draw another AI card to see what its first action is. Most wounded, so it can already see the most wounded. It skips that. Attacks the most wounded, so it's going to attack Caden again. So shoot on poor Caden. Double blocks, double strikes, and another hit. So it's 3 total strikes, 2 blocks, and the possibility of its trigger. For Caden, gets double blocks, a strike, and a thing. I should actually mention, during Frenzy, because he did damage during one of those things, he could have moved a location, because whenever he does blood during a combat roll, he can make a move. So even during the enemy's turn, he can try and move here. So now we get to cancel these. So the 2 blocks on Caden will block the 2 strikes, the native one plus this one, and then there'll be a strike back, which will be blocked by the Nox Spec Op. But then during switches time, the switch can make a 3rd strike, which will hit Caden because he has no more blocks left to stop it. He's at 2 damage out of 10. And then his second action, he's just going to attack 1 more time and then retreat. A combined action with multiple things, all of them apply. So it goes attack, most wounded, and then retreat afterwards, the second part of that action. So once again, it's going to be 2 yellows with a free hit, and it's a whole bunch of exclamation points and 2 strikes. Caden gets 1 block, so Caden blocks 1 of the 2. And then during switches time, it turns into another additional one. So he's going to go to a grand total of 4 damage. Since he doesn't trigger because he didn't take any, or didn't cause any actual damage during the course of the activation. And that's both the Spec Ops having activated. And I think it's time to go with Caden. He's pretty hurt now, and he's pretty mad. So he's going to go and try and do some stabs with his Rippers. He's already hurt 1 of them, which means that if he targets the unhurt one, this one over here, he could potentially use his Blade's ability to inflict damage on adjacent enemy to kill the other one too. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, using his first action to fill up his movement. He'll have 2 movement points left. And then his second action, he will take a strike into the guy who's unwounded. So his Rippers do an automatic strike plus an orange and a yellow, and it's defense black-yellow on these guys. Orange-yellow from Caden. There we go. So that's going to be 2 strikes, a block, and 2 exclamation points. And then it's black-yellow for these guys, 2 blocks and an exclamation point. 2 blocks block the 2 native successes, and that means that Caden does not unfortunately have anything to get his trigger off and kill the 3rd guy. He has 2 action points left though, so if he wants to get out of line of fire, he can go 1, 2, so that these fools can't see him. That means because their cards aren't in the initiative deck, another hero gets to go again, because we only did melee strikes so far. We didn't do any actual ranged actions. There's no blood to his activation, so he actually doesn't get any aggro tokens either, which is bananas, but these guys are proving to be pretty hard to kill. So let's see what we can do with Chen Gao now. I think he needs to go and get some work done. So his combat shotgun's range 1 to 4, so he needs to stand 1, 2, 3, 4. He's just standing over here to do it. So fill his movement and go 1, 2. I think it's time to get noisy. And then his second action, he's got 3 points of movement left, but he's going to blast his heavy shotgun. It's 2 blue with an automatic strike. He can use blocks to add to damage. He can also use a strike and an exclamation point to damage adjacent targets, and an exclamation point to impose the stun state. Double blue. Let's see what he gets. Block strike and an extra strike, and it's going to be against yellow black. Just a block. So he doesn't have the extra one to do extra damage, but he does do 1 point of damage to this guy. Unwounded one now has a point of damage. And then last but not least, he's got 3 points of movement left. But he has used a firearm this turn, which means we will increase the alert level to 1. So the next 2 cards are automatically in the deck now, and the first one to get flipped is going to be the Nox Leaders. Now they can't leave this room, but they can stand in it and blast with combi rifles. So let's see what the first one's, the closest one's action is. So gain line of fire on the lowest aggro. I think Chen Gao has an aggro on him now, due to the fact that he fired his weapon and caused a blood. So the least aggro right now, I guess, the closest lowest aggro would be, I guess, Caden. His first action, he needs to use some movement points. So he has a movement of 5. So his first action, he moves up to 5. 1, 2, 3. Can't see me at 4. Now he can. To gain line of fire, always use the shortest possible distance. And then the second one, he will target the character with the most aggro, which in this case is going to be old Chen Gao. So he's got a range of 1 to 8, I believe, with his combi rifle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see him because at least one corner from his hex can touch one corner of Chen Gao's hex. And he's going to start firing. So he has exactly the same stats. It's 2 yellow and a free success, and can use his exclamation points as triggers. So he gets a grand total of 2 successes, a block, and 2 exclamation points. And then for Chen Gao, he's got 2 black and a blue to try and block this. And gets 3 blocks and an exclamation point. He also reroll blanks on a defense roll, so he gets an extra one. So that gives him a grand total of 1, 2, 3, 4 to spend. He blocks all the native ones plus the extra one. So the second leader now will fire if he can, but he can't see his own line of sight. So what he's going to do is he's going to move towards the most aggro and then fire as well. Because it's a combined action, he'll do all of them at once. So he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I guess, to here. And I think that corner can see this corner right there. And so he will also fire with 2 yellows and get 2 blocks, 2 exclamations, and a hit, which means a grand total of potentially 3 strikes and 2 blocks. Chen Gao is going to rock and roll. He gets to reroll this one because it's a blank, and he gets a grand total of 3 blocks and exclamation points. He blocks all the damage, the 1, the free 1, plus the 2 from the trigger. Does the damage, but it gets blocked by these blocks as well, so nothing happens. And it's 1 more action for him, because he had a big combined action there, and that's going to be to just fire again. 2 yellows, he gets a big roll, so double strike, so triple strike, 2 blocks, so it's quadruple strike basically. And he can roll the blank, and quadruple block, so he blocks it all. Does no damage himself, but even if he did, it would have been blocked by the 2 shields there, so no damage. And that is their activation. So now it's on to, it's looking like we're going to be going with our last character, because Jasmine's gone, Chen Gao's gone, and the Man of the Legend Caden Firestrike is gone, and that'll be Uma. So she's going to move first. She's only got range 4 on her pistols, but she makes exclamation points and additional strikes. And she's pretty quick. She gets to move pretty fast, and these guys are going to come through here in a second, unfortunately. So she probably wants to try and finish these guys off, which she might be able to do. So she's going to move. She moves 6 when she moves, and she is focused right now. So she's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, I think. She's going to take a pot shot with her pistols. So the first pistol, she has duels, so she gets a bonus yellow die. She's going to key. Oh, she doesn't have her focus right now. We failed that roll. That's right. So just blue, orange, yellow to try and strike that Nox Spec Up, who has a black and yellow in defense. So we got, looks like 2 strikes because there's 1 natively. No, there isn't 1 natively. So we got a strike, an exclamation point, and a block. Back at us, we get a yellow and a black, which is a strike, an exclamation point, and 2 blocks. So no damage to the Nox Spec Op, and the strike to us is also blocked. I didn't get to add any bonuses there because I didn't roll any blanks. Otherwise, I would have gotten to add damages. The range of my gun is actually 5 as well, due to the fact that we've got the accuracy helmet. I have 2 AP left, or 2 movement points left. I'm just gonna move backwards and go 1, 2, like that. That was round 1, and we are fighting some dudes. Oh no, actually we got one more activation for the baddies. It's the Cadmuses. They're going to come through. First AI card for the Cadmus. It's going to be a move to see the highest threat model. Uma didn't do any damage, so it's still going to be Qing Kao. So this guy's going to have to fill up his movement. His movement goes to 6, and he's going to move to get line of sight. So he's going to go 1, 2. I guess just stand there. Options to fire at him. So it will be a combi rifle. He's a Cadmus. He's Shasvastii, so he gains the trigger from the leaders still being alive. There's at least 2 of them. And that means, or so there's 2 more Nox leaders deployed. Oh, sorry, it's all Noxes gain that. The Cadmuses don't get that, actually. They just have it based. Never mind. They just have it like on their guns all the time. So it's a orange, yellow, and they automatically have an exclamation point. Against, so it's basically 2 exclamation points, so it's 1 damage and a block. And then he's gonna get, Qing Kao gets this, he can reroll this for a block as well. So it all cancels out. This strike is canceled by this block, and there's 3 blocks here that cancel that last trigger. The other Cadmus is gonna go, and he'll flip his card. It's go towards the least scary foe, trying to get line of sight. So it'll be 1, 2, because you can move through friends. So 3 to go to here. And the closest one, I guess, would be Caden, because he doesn't have any aggro. Second one's to shoot the most wounded. So trying to shoot him. So it's, again, going to be an orange-yellow with a free exclamation point. And that gets him a strike and exclamation point. So 2 exclamation points overall, basically. And then it will be blue-black, because it was medium armor. A strike back and a hit. So he's going to take a damage and go to 5. But this guy will also take a damage because it's unblocked. Cadmus number 2 takes a damage, and Caden goes to 5. Need more basic ones here. There we go. Send around, go to round 2. All the weapon cards on tap on the heroes because they can use them again. And we shuffle the character deck. So you notice I'm not shuffling the AI deck. That's important. When you run out of AI cards, you advance the alert level. So you keep using them basically until they're all gone. And that's how the alert level is going to continue to go up once you basically sounded the initial alarm. So heroes get to go first. There's no one dead yet. No reinforcement points on the board. At the end of the last round, we're going to check to see if anyone needed to be reinforced. Because no one's died yet, that doesn't happen. And we're just gonna start killing, I think. Man, you didn't do great here, guys. I think Caden's gotta go. I really want him to kill everything. So he's just gonna go and try and murder those fools, I think. Pulling up his movement to 6, he's gonna go 1, 2, 4 left. He'll swing with his attack, so he's got orange, yellow, and then a bonus strike, basically. See what he gets. Alright, so we got 2 strikes and 2 exclamation points. The defensive roll back for that Nox Spec Op is black and yellow. And they get just an exclamation point, so nothing to trigger there. So that means with a 2 strikes exclamation point, he can kill the one, and then use his switch by spending a strike and exclamation point to also damage the other one that was adjacent. So he kills both these guys in one go. And they just die. That's more like it, pal. I'm into it. So you gain an aggro token because he caused blood during your activation. And then you still have 4 movement points left. Now, he caused blood. Immediately after you inflict any number of blood during combat, you can move a free space. So he effectively has 5 movement spaces he can go here. Just get after it. Let's go 1, 2, over to here. Maybe we'll kill everyone. Alright, so we've got a card to flip now. See who's going to get to go. It will be the Nox leaders. As soon as a unit gets knocked out, I gain a reinforcement point into the reinforcement pool, which can bring people back. You'll see there's a reinforcement point cost on their card. First AI card for the Nox leaders, they grab a advance towards somebody. Now it's going to be advanced towards the nearest thing with aggro, attack nearest thing with aggro. So first action will be an attack into Caden. All right, so it's going to be a shot with the, I guess we'll do the bottom one here first. It'll be a shot with a combi rifle, so it's going to be a double yellow with a free strike And there's still 2 more Nox people on the table, so they get their extra bonusy thing. So that's going to be a strike. So 2 strikes, exclamation point, and a block. Gets 2 blocks and a strike. So the blocks cancel each other out, and the strikes cancel each other out, and that's it. Second action of the card would be advance. You can already do so. The third action would be this, which I can't remember what that is. Becomes focused. Sweet. So that would be leader number 2 becomes focused, which it can do. So the number 1, yeah, that'd be the number 1, yeah, and then number 2, so its first action, it needs a new card because it's done all the card actions there, will be an attack because it's already engaged with the highest threat thing, so it's going to attack it. Rolls again. So 1 strike, 1 block, and 1 exclamation. Caden gets 2 blocks and exclamation, so just the strike cancels itself out and blocks the native damage that's on the combo rifle. Second action, it's already engaging, so it's another attack. Striking Caden one more time, 2 yellows. Whoa, my gosh, so much damage. And no blocks. Okay, so that is 3 damage and 2 switches, so 5 damage. So that takes Caden to 10, and he is unconscious. Damn, he's out cold, so his activation next is going to have to be on a med kit. He doesn't block line of sight, and he can move through for free, though. Well, the heroes get to go now, and I think it's time for Chen Gao to go and do some murdering. So he's pretty happy where he's standing right now. He's within 4, so I think he's just going to plug that guy with his heavy shotgun. And I misspoke earlier, actually. I thought this symbol here meant you had to tap the card when you use it. That's only actually for these special abilities up here. We don't have to bother doing that when we actually make attacks with our weapons. So he can actually use this twice if he wants to, which is kind of handy. The very hard to use the rippers twice because typically you have to move in to use them first, so it hasn't come up yet. So let's do our shotgunning. If we don't kill him, I guess we could do it twice. So the first attack, it's 2 blue and a free strike into this Cadmus. The Cadmus is going to have a blue defense die back. So that's a lot of defenses and a strike, and then the Cadmus is going to have a blue die as well, which gives a strike and a defense. So right now, it's blocking a strike, and which will block automatically. Then it's going to cause a strike, which will also be blocked by him. So these basically cancel each other out. And there is this left when it's all said and done. So we could create a strike with it, and then that will just do a damage. So the front will take a damage. Guy number 2, because he took a damage from the last exchange. Second action, we just attack again and do it again. 2 blues and a strike. So 2 strikes, 2 blocks. So 3 strikes, 2 blocks overall, and the Cadmus gets 2 blocks and an exclamation point. And so it has blocked the 2 base ones, but the native one plus the ability to exchange for it's going to do 2 more, and he will die. And that means we're flipping to see what the next bad guy card is. Oh, and he'll gain another aggro because he just murdered somebody. And it's the Cadmus. No big surprise there. Well, Mr. Cadmus is going to draw his first AI card and see what he does. He's going to advance towards threat. He already sees it. He's going to attack. So he's going to attack twice, it looks like. The highest threat thing he can see, which will be, of course, Chen Gao. He's got 2 aggro on him right now. So that's going to be 2 yellow. No, not 2 yellows. It's an orange, yellow, and an exclamation point from these guys. And gets 2 strikes and 3 exclamation points. Basically becomes 3 strikes. It's 2 block and this. He can reroll 1 of these dice because of defense expert. Oh, only 1 block. So 1 block to effectively 3 strikes means he's going to take 2 damage. He's getting attacked again. So here comes 2 blocks, a strike, and an exclamation point. So effectively 2 strikes and 2 blocks after triggers. And Chen Gao gets, and you can reroll this for defensiveness, 2 blocks. So that's going to mean a grand total of 2 blocks to 2 strikes, no damage. Hero's going again. Okay, well, Jazz, I think it's time for us to go open a security door. She's going to activate, she's going to fill up her movement points, and she's going to move, because I failed to support something last turn. She's moving to 6, so she's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then she's going to interact. Pick lock means when she uses her hacking device against this thing, you can either, if you don't have a hacking device, you can just use a blue die to try and interact with this thing. She has one, so she gets to use her attacking dice stats plus a yellow when she does this. Also reroll 1 dice when you interact with consoles, and her debugger allows it to do it as well. So not that I want to, because I got all the results. So basically I can do whatever I want with console 1. So I can use a block and an exclamation point to open the security door. Take the card of Elite Body Valkyrie, increase their alert level by 1. Add a reinforcement point to the reserve. If there's at least 1 Nox in the Stalker, remove Agnes Garden from the game. I can release Magnetic Clamp A from the Stalker, flip the marker to show its green side of one of the reinforcements reserve. Or I can release the Magnetic Clamp B from the Stalker, flip the marker to show its green side. Deploy the Guilos. It cannot be activated until the next round, so don't assign the AI card or add its initiative card. Basically, I've increased the security level by 1. I can do these in any order I want, but there's literally everything here because I had way too good a roll, so I can't just be picky and choosy here. And these guys are still alive, which means she just gets killed. Bam, she's dead. So it'll open the security guard. Valkyrie becomes a ally. Increase the alert level by 1, so we go to alert level 2, which will have consequences. And then deploy the Guilos. It cannot be activated until the next round, so it's not an AI card or its initiative cards. The Guilos just drops in right here on reserve 1. Then I will release Magnetic Clamp A because I have a strike. Add one of the reinforcement reserve, so when the reinforcement comes in. I'll release Magnetic Clamp B from the Stalker, flip the marker to show its green side, deploy the Guilos unit. It can't be activated. That's it. Yeah. So this is the one. All of these things are now flipped. Clamps are open. We gave them the clamps, and now we have to fight our way into the ship and activate console 2 to get away. She still has a couple AP left, and I think she's gonna move because she only moved 1, 2, 3, 4. She has 5, 6 left. She'll go 5, 6 over to here, and then we can activate our ally, which is Billy. I think we're gonna go and try and stun that Guilos. So Billy's gonna make a move action. It can move 8 and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 over to here, and then try and stun. False. It's just a green die. The Guilos has a green and a yellow for defense though, so let's see what happens. Green die. And this is just the block. Close. Does a point of damage to him. So he takes the damage. He's got 3 left. This has a nano screen, so you basically want to always be attacking it adjacent. And so now it is the last of the monster cards to go. That's going to be the Nox Leaders, looks like. And so the Nox Spec Ops, who just got knocked out. So actually they don't activate. The Nox Leaders went first and knocked out Caden. So we have a chance here to kill this thing. It has 6 wounds. 6 wounds and a green-yellow defense. It has an HMG, which is terrifying, and it also has, yeah, it's just bad. But Uma's gonna try and pistol him to death. So Uma gets accurate, so an auto strike for blanks, a yellow dice because of the 2 paired light weapons, and a yellow-blue when she attacks. So she gets an automatic yellow from being saturation attack, and she's gonna unload in the Squallow. Hiya! So that's a, holy moly. So that's 1, 2, 3 strikes, 2 exclamation points, and that's a 4th strike. It's a green-yellow, but doesn't get the nano screen because she's adjacent. And gets a block and a strike, and 3 exclamation points. So that's going to be triggers automatically with its HMG. It actually can't use its HMG because it's too close, within 3. So it just gets to do a block and a strike. So it blocks 1 of the 4. And she'll automatically block the other one and take 3 damage. And now we're being ordered to retreat right now, but she's going to shoot it again. Let's just kill this monster. Forget it. Second action, do it again. So she gets block, 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 and some exclamations. The Guilo, oof, gets double block and exclamation, but doesn't do any damage either. Because we're at alert level 2 at the end of each round, we are going to add a reinforcement point to the reinforcement pool before we respawn. Also worth noting that Uma has her second, actually. No, her first? Yes, that was her first aggro point. Didn't kill anybody last round. Alright, well, it's Caden's gone, everybody's gone, everybody's basically finished. We gotta reinforce. So starting with the top dead model, because the Spec Ops are dead, they would have gone on top of the reinforced model. We're gonna try and reinforce out of the pool, so 2 of these come off. And that's how much it costs to respawn a Spec Op. It's gonna come on as close as it can to the next available spawn point, which is spawn 2, which is over here. And the Spec Ops go back into the pool for the round, so we shuffle up the deck again. and get ready to play. We've totally forgot about you though, Valkyrie. You actually would have gotten to activate before those reinforcements came in. So we'll just ignore him being there for a second, and she gets to activate as an ally. So she's going to move as her first action and do the charge attack. She'll go fill up her movement to 6 and go 1, 2, 3. And then she'll charge attack, which is red, blue, yellow, and that's Cadmus. She gets strike, exclamation point, sorry, shield, exclamation point, strike. With nothing basic, but she can use 3 exclamation points to do immobilized. Unfortunately, she didn't really do much there. She just basically did some basic hits. If she's using her heavy pistol, I would do a much better roll. Let's see what his defense is. His defense is, I believe, blue for Cadmus. Yep, a blue. Does a block, so blocks the strike, and no damage. All right, so having gone now, she'll just stay there in melee, I guess. And it's on to top of round 3, and we gotta figure out who we want to have going first. The deck shuffles at Guila's. Guila's now in play, yeah, I think we gotta try and kill this Cadmus. Not the Cadmus, the Guilo. You do this, Zoom, I believe in you. So you've got your blue, orange, and a free yellow from doing saturation attack. And we're going to attack the Guilo. He's not going to get his nail screen again because he's adjacent. And he's only got a green, yellow, and defense. That's pretty great. So quadruple strike and 3 exclamation points. So it's basically 5 strikes. So it's going to be yellow and green back. And that's 3 and a damage. So 3 blocks. So the quadruple strikes go to 1. The damage gets blocked by the shield, and he takes 2 and goes to 1 left. Second action, she's going to do it again. You can do this, Uma. Hiya! Not too bad. So that's going to be a grand total of 2 strikes there. Or sorry, yeah, 2 strikes because of 2 exclamation points plus the strike, and then 2 blocks. Only blocks 1. That's enough. Kills him. Comes out, and that's going to be an automatic reinforcement point because he died. And she gains another aggro. It's getting crazy. She just killed the crap out of that guy. So Guila's no problem apparently. Let's see who's going next. It's the Cadmus. First AI card for that Cadmus. It's going to be just an attack, and it's going to attack the highest aggro thing it can see. In this case, that will be Qingao. Firing with a orange and a yellow. Gets 2 strikes and 2 exclamation points, and then back at him it's going to be blue, and then black. Rerolling a blank. Nope. No damage. Goes to 3. Reroll any dice to make a blank face, not just 1. Takes no damage and doesn't hit back. Cadmus just takes 1. Keep grabbing the wrong token. There we go. On the tree would be advanced to see something, and then attack him again. It's just going to attack again. And let's see what he gets. So it's 1 trigger basically when this is all said and done, and then back at him from Qingao. He gets a hit and 2 blocks and nothing else. So with the 1 block, they all cancel each other out and take some more damage. Well, the heroes need to go again. I think we just need to get Jasmine in there as fast as possible. We do have to kind of kill this Cadmus though. Yeah, Jasmine's gonna go. She's gonna activate. She's gonna fill up her movement points and go 6. Oh, does she want to go in the equipment first? Let's go in the equipment. Let's see what we got. Let's do a cool action. She finds some AP rounds, a med kit, and a medjector. Keep the medjector because that's gonna be important. And everything else gets discarded because we don't have room for it because right now Billy's attached to us. That gets discarded, and then our second action, we're just going to use an AP. I don't know if this is a free action or not. I think it cost me an action. We're gonna move 6 and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over to here. We're gonna go with Billy. Billy's gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4 over to here. 6, 7 actually, and then start hacking the thing. Yeah, because how much do I need? I need a strike and a thing, and if I do, we automatically take off. I'm not gonna do it yet because if I accidentally roll this, then we take off with everybody left behind. Let's see the next character, the next baddie's gonna be. It's gonna be the Nox. So he's way back here. He's going to try and gain line of sight first, and then attack. So towards the thing that you can see, so it'll be him. So 1, 2, 3, 4, we'll gain line of sight, and then an attack. Nox Trooper has more than 2 models on the table, which means it's going to be still with this trigger, sorry, with the switch rather, and then 2 yellows and an auto strike. Yellows! Oof, so it's going to be basically 3 successes into Qingao. Let's see what he gets. He gets this plus that. So 3 successes does 1 more blood, and he didn't get any blocks, so he'll take a blood back too. So it's 1 and 2, and then he can do the switch. He goes to 1, and he's going to go to 3. All right, well, he doesn't block line of sight now, so I think we just get shotgunny. The problem is the shotgun is a little bit out of range, so I think we're going to try and blow this guy away first, and then move in. Or we can go with Valkyrie. Let's go with Valkyrie. Yeah, let's go with Valkyrie. She's going to do some stuff. She's going to try and heavy pistol this fool. Orange, blue with an automatic, like, switch. So let's just try and kill this Cadmus this way. And it's blue in defense. Oh, my God. Okay. So, yeah. So there's a 1, 2, and then 3 blocks to 1 and a block. So blocks a strike. Then takes one of my strikes, and that basically leaves 1, 2, 3 left. So 3 damage, and that just kills him. He only had 1. It's in a reinforcement point. Man, she's good with that pistol. Holy moly. And then she gets to fill up her movement and go 6. So we're trying to get her off the table. We're going to go, oops, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to here. One of these folks goes. The Guerrilla, it goes in the reinforcement pile because it's dead. The next hero can go. Let's do Qingao, and we're going to try and, I think, murderize that guy. Let's just shotgun that poor that poor regular dude. So it's double blue and an auto strike against the Spec Ops has just a yellow and a black. So that's going to be 2 strikes and a block against a yellow black, which is a block. So 2 strikes and a block, and I can turn none of this into anything important. So 2 strikes and a block against a block means 1 more damage. He only has 1 left. He dies. Another reinforcement point, and the Spec Ops goes to the top of the murdered people pile, as does the Cadmus actually. Cadmus actually would have gone there first because they died and they'd already activated. Then the Spec Ops would be on top. That means that the only folks left to go are going to be the Nox leaders, and they're going to try and attack, I'm thinking, Jasmine. So the focused one first, it attempts to gain access to the least fighty person, which will, or to the most fighty person, which I guess is going to actually be Qingao? Uma. So that's going to be, oh sorry, and actually there should be an aggro right now on Valkyrie, because she murdered that guy. So he fills up his movement, because he can't see right now. He'd be this one, actually. So he can see through him, and he's in range, so he's fine. It was right to attacking him, so that's going to be... And just do it twice in a row, actually. He's got 2 attacks in a row there. So he's going to attack twice in a row. The Nox leader has double yellow with an auto strike and the trigger. Double yellows gets the trigger off, so it's 2 strikes and a block. I was going to take... how about quad blocks? Thank you very much. Again. So 2 strikes... 3 strikes, basically, and a block. Versus, can reroll that for quad strikes, sorry, quad blocks rather. So no damage. I've gotten to add a yellow to the first one, which unless it was 2 strikes, yeah, it doesn't do anything. Because condition goes away, because I got quad blocks on both of those. So then the second one flips an AI card. Actually, sorry, the second one will do whatever this is. Attacks the most wounded. So it goes to try and find line of fire, and then focuses. You can already see Qingao doesn't do either of those things, because that guy's the most wounded guy is still conscious. So the next AI card says attack him and then focus and move towards him. So you can do both those things. So he attacks and then focuses. So number 2 is now focused. I'm actually going to put the focus condition on the model. It'll just be easier. It'll be on this guy. It comes before the focus though, so he can't spend it. So it's 2, and he gets a strike and, sorry, 2 strikes because of the native one, and then basically a 3rd strike. Versus 2 blocks and a hit. So he's going to take a damage because number 2 just got damaged because he didn't get any blocks, but he gets damage through as well. Qingao goes to 4. And the second one, he becomes focused, and that's it. So they're done, and they're still on the table, and it's over to, I guess, Caden can try and wake up. So he's going to perform the auto med kit action. So he discards this card to remove the unconscious state. He heals up to 8. Which means he's going to have a grand total of 2 on him, and draw 2 consequence cards and choose one and discard the other. So this gets discarded. He's used it. He draws 2 of these. So for -1 movement, No effect. Let's just take no effect. I like that one. No longer unconscious. That was his first action. Second action, I guess he could just start stabbing, or he could move. I think we just move. We want to get on the boat right now. So we're going to go move, fill up our movement, go 1, 2, 3, 4. End up over here. That's right, everybody's gone. So reinforcement. So top of the deck, the Spec Ops cost 2 to reinforce. So one shows up right here. That's the first 2. We got one for free actually, so it should be 5 in here right now. So the second 2 will leave 1 in, and the other Spec Ops will arrive here. And that puts us into round 4. We are almost going to go up a threat level because we're running out of cards here. We're almost down to our bottom of our AI cards. So currently the Spec Ops and the Nox Leaders are going to be in the deck. And let's decide which hero is going to go first. Aiden's feeling pretty mad, so I think he's just going to try and murderize some folks with his rippers. So he's got orange, yellow, and a strike. And he's going to strike the unwounded one and hopefully get the trigger to kill the other one. So orange, yellow, and a strike. Let's see what we got. Oof, bad. Just roll 2 black. So a block, so the strike gets blocked. Nothing goes back at him. Second attack, he'll do the same thing again. And get 2 strikes, a block, and an exclamation point, and then 1 block. So we'll use the 1 block cancels one of these, but the native one and the trigger we'll use to kill the wounded guy. So wounded guy, which is guy number 2, which is the guy who is focused, is dead. Another aggro, so it's on to the baddies. Let's see which of the 2 groups is going first. It's going to be the Nox Leaders, who are already engaged. And let's see what their AI card says. It says, move line side of the most aggro. They're both the same. And then attack, and flee. So attack into Caden, and then attack and flee. So let's see what he does. Caden should have 2 damage on him, actually, because he didn't heal all the way from his auto med kit. And the attack from that Nox Leader is going to be 2 yellows with a free strike. Yellows. Striking 2 exclamations, so basically 3 strikes. And it's a black and a blue for Caden. Strike and a block, which means he will take 2 damage, but he'll do 1 back. He goes to 4 on him right now, but he does also put 1 damage on that Nox Leader. And then the second attack, 2 yellows. Does a block and an exclamation and a strike. And then a block and a strike. So he blocks the hit. Does a hit back, which also gets blocked, and that's it. No triggers that he can do at the moment. So, it looks like we are on to Tactical Retreat, and that means he will fall back. He's got a respawn value, so he gets removed from the table after he decides to flee, which means we put a respawn point in, but he loses his damage. And he potentially comes back later. So the Nox Leader goes over here. Didn't have a respawn value, so if it didn't have the cost to come back, then it would be removed from the game. All right, well, Valkyrie, I think it's time to run and gun. So I think the first thing you're gonna do is shoot that Nox Trooper. So you've got your crazy auto defense plus orange and blue with your heavy pistol. And all your blocks can turn into blood to try and hit that guy. And then he defends back with a black and a yellow. So you get a 2 blocks, so 3 blocks and a strike, black, yellow, nothing. So that turns into 4 damage and just annihilates that guy. Super dead. And then I guess you'll just take a walk and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Gain an aggro, go to 2. So then it's only gonna be the Spec Ops left, and they decide they're going to first AI card. Looks like go after the person with the highest aggro, which will be Chingao, and then attack. So 1, 2, 3, 4, so you can see him. And then take a swing with his combat rifle again. So he doesn't have the trigger of the switch anymore because the Nox Leaders are all gone. And he does get an auto strike though. So 1 strike, Chingao might just kill this guy. He gets, just 3 blocks. Just stops it all. I think it's time to leave. Let's go home before it gets too crazy in here. So we're going to go with Chingao. He's just going to fill up his movement twice and move into here. There are no baddies left. We'll do the same with Uma into here. And then finally Jasmine's going to go, and she's just going to make a move action. And then use her hacking device on the console, which is, with debugger, going to be orange-yellow for using the hacking device, plus she can reroll. Plus with pick lock, she has an additional yellow. She gets, oh my gosh, okay. I can't reroll blanks. I didn't get what I needed. I needed a shield there, so we don't actually take off. Anything I put into the console track is a strike. I needed that shield, and I can't reroll non-blanks. And face, here comes a reinforcement point. I guess we're doing one more round. And then we get the, oh no, the Cadmuses all died. No, the Nox Troopers all died. There should be 2 sets in here. So the Nox leaders are going to respawn. The leaders respawn with 2. So 1 shows up here, and that takes out 2. And then the Cadmuses respawn, and they respawn with 2 and then 1. So 2. All right, let's see if we can just do this before these guys get to activate. First hero to go. We're just going to go with Jasmine Jazz again. She's going to hack. And we get to reroll this one. We still can get a shield. We got it. We got the shield we need. Everything else is discarded, and the clamps are released. So we read, the stalker maneuvers quickly away from the facilities. You feel the tension in your shoulders letting go until a familiar face reappears in your visor. Cuervo never brings good news. So we managed to escape. So at the end of the mission, all 4 characters are unconscious. It ends. If a character or ally makes the stalker take off, you console 2 or Agnes Gerung. At the end of the mission, each character receives intel packs for the following achievements. If Valkyrie's in the stalker, if Agnes survives, if initiative fulfilling the above objectives, all the characters from the game onboard the stalker. So we're going to get 2 info packs, which is important for campaign purposes, which I'll flip to you right now and explain what would happen if this was our first mission in playing a campaign. At the end of the mission, the first thing we do is get loot. All loot cards the characters still have are discarded. Resum loot deck. So I lose my Medjector, basically, that I didn't get to use. I could have used it if I wanted to on Caden or on King Chow. That was my plan there. Then it's redistribute the crew. Players must assign the character that formed the crew of the Defiance to different areas of the ship in order to fulfill specific tasks. After finishing a mission, neutral characters turn to allies and become part of the crew of the Defiance. So all characters have a profile as crew members in their cards that show which effects they have. So what's cool is Valkyrie joins my crew. Unfortunately, Agnes died, so I don't get her. But Valkyrie, with the elite bodyguard, would be part of my crew manifest now. Then each character has a token that must be placed on the faces of the card that represents the Defiance. Obviously, this is just the demo, so we don't have that here. Changing character positions is under this step. So, like, basically, there's a ship layout card that will be in the full game, and the characters basically crew different parts of the ship and unlock new abilities. And then finally, Sickbay and Workshop consequences. Characters rest on the Defiance, recovering their strength. Remove all states, damage tokens, and aggro tokens from characters and allies. So everybody resets, basically, and takes all their damage off. So all this stuff goes away. If you had any consequences, so luckily I got no consequences on Caden when he got knocked out. You can attempt to discard them. For each consequence, they must make at least 1 strike and a medicine simple roll. So you're going to roll a yellow die and get rid of it. So if I had to take the leg injury, I wouldn't have gotten rid of it there. I'd start the next game with it. Both rolls can be modified with the different workshops and stuff in the sick bay. So when your ship is crewed, basically, you can change these rolls. Then you get sample and equipment crafting. During this step, some characters can also craft items. Can remove consequences. They cannot craft items during that step. So basically, if you're removing a consequence, you're not doing anything else. Samples that are not used during this step are removed from the game unless they can be stored. Then we acquire specialties. As long as they have 7 or fewer specialty cards, each character that was part of the last mission gains a new specialty belonging to one of the 3 specialty groups that they have access to, and that's the names under here. So armored, fighter, hacker, or gunslinger. Equipment cards with an intel pack value can be discarded to recover half their intel pack value running down. So like if we found treasure basically from the loot, we gain more intel packs. In this case, we all have 2 intel packs from finishing the mission with what we did. If has no value, then you get nothing for discarding them. Equipment cards discovered in this step are removed from the game and can't be recovered in any way. Players can spend their intel packs to acquire Defiance upgrade cards for the cost printed on them. Each player can contribute the different number of intel packs. Only 1 Defiance upgrade card can be acquired during this step. So we can all pool our resources if we want to upgrade the ship as well. And then intel packs that are not spent during this step are stored for later. So you keep your intel packs between now and then. And then check equipment. You can trade any amount of equipment cards for them except for the ones tagged with their name. Before advancing the upgrade specialty step, players can redistribute their equipment cards. They get equipment cards that cannot be assigned to any location on a character card. And those that the players mean to discard can be stored on the Defiance, built a deck with them and place them in this tile. And when finishing a mission during this step, players can equip themselves with stored equipment cards. You would upgrade your specialties. All of the character specialty cards that are face down or flip back up, and can be those that are tapped can become untapped. Some examples of some cards here. Now, normally, after you finish a mission, you can gain a new one. So the maximum that you can have for your cards, the maximum level is going to be 1 for the first 2 missions, 2 for the 3rd and 4th, 3 for the 5th, 5th, and 6th, and 4 for the 7th and 8th. And usually what will happen is their category name and level will allow them to form a chain. So they'll chain together to form like a leveling up procedure that you'll get. Some of them tap, some of them don't. It's like dual weapons here, anticipation. Rotate this card if you're equipped with this with two weapons of the same kind. At the beginning of an enemy's activation, you can attack them once. This is not considered to be an activation. So like once per game, you can basically tap this and take a preemptive strike with your pistols with Uma. Hacker. This one's not a tap one, it's just add 1 orange to your hacking and interact with console rolls. So she just becomes a better hacker basically all the time. That's it, you would play through various missions, this one being the first one still, and through the Defiance core game I imagine, once it's actually said and done, you'll be able to play through, unlock more specialties, find new loot and weapons, and generally blow things up on special missions. And so you go, first look at Infinity Defiance, the new dungeon crawler sci-fi game from Corvus Belli, coming soon via Kickstarter. Now it's up today, I believe, and there's all kinds of planned stretch goals and unlockables and cool stuff that take this from space stations to installations to the ground. There's gonna be stuff outdoors as well, all kinds of monsters and baddies, and all kinds of like potential expansion plans for it as well. So this is Corvus Belli, it's beautiful miniatures, all hard cast in pewter. I don't know if there's Kickstarter plans or goals for doing any other format, but right now it looks like the plan is doing them in metal, as well as having profiles, of course, for all of them in Infinity the game as well. So if you're just interested in collecting a huge collection of really cool Infinity miniatures from a variety of factions, as well as a really cool starter Shasvastii army, this is a pretty cool box no matter what. On top of that, of course, you've got this great dungeon crawler game using some of the DNA of Aristea and some classic tropes of dungeon crawling, of course, going through corridors and doors and unlocking stuff to complete various missions with unlockables, loot. You get a big loot deck, things you can grab and pick up and find, and of course, a variety of different classes of character that you can play as well. I like the inclusion of NPCs. I think that's going to be neat, and being able to upgrade the ship. I want to see more about that. And I felt like the AI system was perfectly usable and made the game playable by myself. Of course, we'll be able to play it with multiple players as well. But I'm going to save that experience, of course, for when the full game comes out, and we'll get a whole cast of my friends together to play through the adventures. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that first look at Infinity Defiance. If you want to know more, check out the links below so you can check out the Kickstarter and all the information from CB. Big thanks to them for sending along so I can check it out, and you guys for watching. Next time, I'm Ash. Have a I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want to support the channel, of course, like and subscribe and hit the little bell below so you get notifications when I post future content. I do post stuff 7 days a week. If you want to support the channel further, you can, of course, buy a t-shirt through Spreadshirts, buy a measuring gauge or objective markers from Death Ray Designs, or, of course, most importantly, there is Patreon. Patreon is what makes all this possible, keeps the lights on, pays for the studio costs, pays for the equipment, model costs, and everything else, and most importantly, puts food in my kids' bellies and a roof over their heads. Big thanks to everyone, past, future, who supported me. I do this stuff because of you guys, and of course, I will continue doing it as long as I can.